Howdy, true believers. It's me, Shane. And, today's video, man, I really wanted to do it on this predominantly, actually, all black anime, which I'm still going to do. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos this weekend because I'm going to power through that. And I don't want to give you guys anything half assed. And with the sudden announcement of Spider-Man, MCU Spider-Man 3's title, known as No Way Home, which aligns with everything. If you watch any of my MCU news videos, it aligns with everything that we believe is going to happen, especially if you watch the WandaVision videos. Um, but I digress. With that, it clicked in my head what I can talk to you guys about for Black History Month. Why don't I tell you about the greatest Spider-Man film that's ever come out? Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's about Miles Morales. Take a look at that. Take a look at that double. One with the mask, one without the mask. Yes, that is Miles Morales. He is personally, well, I guess you can say he is possibly he teetered between my first and second favorite Spider-Man. One of my favorite Spider-Man is actually Superior Spider-Man, Otto Octavius, who's literally Doc Ock in a Peter Parker meat suit. Really great run, especially for the character. But yes, I'm going to talk to you today about Into the Spider-Verse. But before that, please remember to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Just want you guys to know that. So let's get down to this. Why do I care? First, I'm going to tell you about why do I care. I care because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. As you can see from this shirt, this is actually from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which you can tell from the eye holes. I am a big Spider-Man nerd. I mean, goodness. I love the costume. I love his various costumes. For a long time as a kid, I was just in love with the Ben Riley Scarlet Spider-Man or the Ben Riley Spider-Man suit, which was around I want to say between 94 and 97. Ben Riley's a clone of Peter Parker who took Uncle Ben's name, used the Riley last name. Uh, I think that was Peter's mother's maiden name, but he took the Riley last name. Really different suit. Had the web shooters on the outside, and even the Scarlet Spider-Man suit, which was paid an homage in Spider-Man: Homecoming. The thrown together suit looked just like it. And I mean, goodness, guys, I brought some things here to show you how much I love Spider-Man. And I believe it's C2E2 2010. I got this. A friend of mine made sure I was able to get in line so I can get this. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know what artist this is. I recognize the art. This is one of the few Spider-Man in comics that actually emotes with the eyes, which is partially why I love Tom Holland Spider-Man because of the emotion of the eyes. It's a thing that Deadpool does, which lets me know that Ryan Reynolds really, really, really knows his thing about Deadpool. Because yeah, this is one of my prized possessions. I had to dig some of these things out. Also, another thing, guys, I got this Wells and Crane Carnage five-part miniseries here. I cannot find the fifth book. So if you guys have this, I don't care if it's I always got the variant second printings because this thing ran out when it came out. And you're probably asking yourself, when the heck did this Carnage thing came out? Do you see Thor 1, May 6, 2011? Oh, God. Man, I feel old looking at these things. Yeah, if you guys can find that, let me know. Leave a comment down in the comment section down below. But, yeah. Do I love Miles Morales? Miles Morales was actually created by Brian Michael Bendis, who is not one of my favorite writers. He's created many good characters, such as Jessica Jones, but man, he gets on my nerves. Uh, and Pacelli, Monsieur, and Ponsor. Those are the ones who, you know, created him, wrote him, drew him, and came up with his colors. I could not find my issues 1 through 4. I wanted to show you the very first issue of him, but this is 5 and 6, 7 and 8 preserved very well. Once you see the back of this, look at that. The Avengers comes out May 4th. Goodness gracious, these are old. This is back when I had a comic shop that was near my area. This is Prowler, who actually shows up in this movie, voiced by none other than Marshala Ali. Yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm not playing about how much I actually love Spider-Man. Why don't I tell you one of the great reasons about this Spider-Man movie, why it's so amazing, is the fact that it has an amazing voice cast, and I actually put it up on the side because I want to make sure I get this right. Uh, Miles Morales is played by Shamik Moore, who was actually on the movie Dope. That was one of his major movies. Jake Johnson, if you remember, what is that movie? What is that show? There's a show with Zoe Deschanel, New Girl. Yeah, New Girl. That's the show. He is Peter B. Parker. Haley Steinfeld, who's playing Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series. She's Gwen Stacy. Marsha Ali is playing Uncle Aaron, who is the Prowler in comics and in this great movie. There's Brian T. Henry, who is Jefferson Davis, which is Miles's father. Miles is half black, half Puerto Rican. Second ever Latin American Spider Man. First ever Afro Latin Spider Man, Black Spider Man. Zoe Kravitz plays Mary Jane. There's John Mulaney as Spider Ham. Kimiko Glenn as Penny Parker. And the wonderful, wonderful Nicolas Cage as Spider Man Noir. And Catherine Hahn, who is in WandaVision as Agnes slash Agatha Harkness, she plays Dr. Octavius. She plays the female version of one of my favorite characters. And Liv Schreiber, who is Ray Donovan, he was also Sabretooth in the Wolverine Origins movie. He plays Kingpin. And you have Chris Pines as the original Peter Parker. And I say original because this movie starts off where we go through the origin stories how Miles gets bitten by an alternative spider and he's getting these powers. And he happens to see Spider Man fighting against Green Goblin and believe Scorpion, who are working for the Kingpin. This universe, I'm hypothesizing, is heavily based on the Ultimates universe and Ultimates comic universe because many of the villains reflect these type of art style. The Green Goblin is a giant dragon goblin guy, just like in the comic series. Kingpin is always massive, but he's massive. And we get a wonderful moment where Miles ends up kind of meeting with Chris Pines as Peter Parker, who is loved by everyone. He even has a funny moment of where he's doing the dance from the Spider-Man 3 movie. Spider-Man is not a fiend, he is not hated, he is loved by New York City. And unfortunately, he is killed by the penguin, wow, by the Kingpin, Romo Beavers. And Miles Morales is then forced to try to find a way how to get used to his powers, try to be Spider-Man because Spider-Man, who he was supposed to be training with, was just killed before his eyes. Uh, and through many shenanigans, Kingpin trying to dip into the multiverse, many different Spider-Man, and the first one is Peter B. Parker, who I also hypothesize is the Spider-Man that people of my generation grew up with. He is very much so the Spider-Man who is super sad. Aunt May dies. He gets a divorce from Mary Jane. That is our Spider-Man. He's pretty. He's kind of a chunky boy in this movie. And one of the most fantastic things that that a lot of people don't notice initially is that with the art style, many of the other characters that come from different worlds, it's very apparent with Spider-Man Noir, but their art styles are drastically different. Spider Ham's art is very Hanna-Barbera, Looney Tune-ish. Penny Parker, who has a giant spider mech that is controlled by a spider that she has a psychic link to. Oh man, the Spider-Man manga comics are crazy. But anyway, she's drawn in a anime style, and that is actually one of the biggest, greatest things about this is the animation style. It is like it's a mix between stop motion and hand drawn. You cannot. I mean, it says so right here. Won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. And I know a lot of people didn't watch this movie because it was animated. But trust me when I say this is the best Spider-Man movie to date. Even better than Far From Home. I plant my flag on that one. The music is fantastic as well. The song Sunflower done by Post Malone is actually my favorite Post Malone song because I don't listen to Post Malone, but I enjoyed the music from this. The song Start a Riot. I listen to a lot of this music when I'm doing my workouts. Really, really good soundtrack. Please look up this soundtrack. And actually, I actually believe that Black Panther had an amazing soundtrack until this movie came out. Now, people I talk to still believe Black Panther has a way better soundtrack. Which, hey, Black Panther soundtrack is nothing to sneeze at. The score and everything was, well, the score was done by a fantastic orchestra team, but the overall soundtrack was done by Kendrick Lamar, and Kendrick Lamar is one of the best uh, rappers, rap artists, producers, writers in the game. So no shade on Black Panther at all. But I loved every moment and every song when it came up during a scene matched the scene perfectly. I pardon me. That's just all I can say. And yes, it's a bit of a, I won't say bias. It is a very subjective thing. I do encourage you to listen to both soundtracks, please. The story and pacing is amazing. One of the things I loved about the MCU is that they didn't go through the whole Peter gets bitten by the spider. You see Uncle Ben die. Now he's Spider Man. He's been Spider Man for a bit. We get a vague background, and it's alluded to what has happened. This is one of them because it gives everybody's backstory in less than a minute and 30 seconds. Actually, even less than that, probably in 30 seconds. Legitimately, you go through everyone's backstory. And the way it's presented is presented with a comic book cover of the character. Even Miles, towards the end, when Miles finally accepts and becomes the role of Spider-Man of this universe, he gets his own comic book style where he's doing the flips and the dips and everything else. He actually goes through three separate Spider-Man costumes. This is the final one, but he doesn't wear the hoodie and jacket, and he has on those Jordans. Oh boy, they re-released those Jordans because of this movie, and they are very expensive. Miles is actually famous enough that he has a side game within the Sony Spider-Man game that came out for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. He has Adidas in that game. That's incorrect. They should be Jordans. I believe those are the fives or the ones. I'm not researching that. I'm not looking into that. I know what they look like. But yeah, pacing is amazing. You go through the backstory of these characters kind of quickly. Uh, just the fact that we are shown, you don't have to have a whole movie showing every character's origins. And by origins, we get these origin stories where you go through the whole movie and they become the hero. They know that they're a hero. They're the hero. No, these guys from their universes, they're the hero. It is about Miles Morales. And we get, he is a perfect merger of who he is. He's very much a black teen. He's very much a half black, half Puerto Rican teen. He speaks Spanish very fluently. Actually, he didn't even want to go to the higher learning school that he was accepted to because he was going to miss the neighborhood. And actually, his father's a cop, so he has to deal with those issues as well, which is something that's very big in his first run of Ultimate Spider-Man's before the universes became merged because of the Secret Wars that happened in 2016. But that is another story. Actually, he lost his mother. His mother died, and his father blamed Spider-Man for that. And even still, throughout this movie, his father doesn't like Vigilante like Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man, he didn't want him to die, but he didn't like him because he believes it makes the policeman look bad. Which take it as you will. But why is this movie important? This movie is so important because you get to see, just like with Black Panther, you get to see someone that's just like you on the screen. And it's not just seeing this person. The music is where we come from. The art is where we come from. Everything about this movie screams near perfection in my humble opinion. Just the fact that they won awards alone. I don't can't think of any other Spider-Man movies that have won awards. It is a fantastic movie, and I guess one of the criticisms that I've heard multiple times is, especially when Miles Morales was first made, you do get the Latinx community saying, But he's also half Puerto Rican. Why is no one talking about that? Well, there's a reason for that. Because there's the one drop rule. What is the one drop rule? If you have one drop of black blood in you, you are black, especially if you look black. And that's going to be the main thing he focuses on. Actually, in the comics, Miles Morales has an issue where someone says, well, "What do you want to be known as? Black Spider-Man?" He's like, "No, I'm just Spider-Man. I'm me." And even Peter Parker says, "Do not call him that. He is literally Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man, but he is also Spider-Man." It is a wonderful tale, not just the comics, but the movie Into the Spider Verse is a wonderful tale of a young man trying to adapt to his situation, and even trying to figure out and navigate what does it mean to be me? What does it mean to step up and be a hero? One of my favorite lines from this movie is, I believe this is Stan Lee's last voiced cameo, and Miles is buying a Spider-Man costume because everyone's celebrating Spider-Man after he dies, and he's in a he's looking in a mirror and he's seeing the mask come over his face, and we get really nice representation of what's going on in his mind. And Stan says, "Don't worry, kid. It always fits eventually." Which then we're treated by the joke of saying no refunds, but it's it's a wonderful, wonderful tale. And actually, I didn't get to tell you guys earlier. One of the reasons why I love Spider-Man is he can be anybody underneath that mask. And I had the honor and privilege of hearing Stan Lee confirm that at C2E2. I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years before he passed. He said, I made this character because anybody can be on there. He could be a black kid, a white kid, a girl, a boy. He can be anyone. And over the years, many of the artists and writers have proven that Spider-Man can be anyone. We've had 2099 Miguel O'Hara, first Latinx Spider-Man. We have Spider Gwen, also known as Ghost Spider, and she's not even the first female Spider-Man. There's been many, many, many before her, and one of the things that I'm pushing and driving home this Black History Month is, please, if any of you out there, even if you're not a black person of color, show your kids this movie. Show them that there are many different people in the world, and many of them can be heroes. And heck, a lot of them can have similar powers, but what they all make up, what they all may be different in some way, but they're all the same, and they all can work together to solve a problem, a common problem. So, thank you. I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but I love this movie. I love this character. I'm looking forward to Into the Spider Verse 2. I really hope this global situation clears up because I want to see that in theaters, just like I saw this in theaters. Really looking forward to seeing No Way Home, and I'm really hoping that somewhere in there we get a glimpse of Miles just in the background helping some way somehow. So, guys, tell me what you think. Have you seen Into the Spider Verse? I really hope you have. If you haven't, I believe it's on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon streaming service. It was on Netflix for a while. Sorry, that's Thor. Into the Spider Verse was on Netflix for a while, but now it's gone. It's showing up on FX off and on all the time. This is a movie that you should definitely buy. Please buy this movie. You see, Blu-ray, DVD, digital. Buy it. Uh, Let me know what you think. What's your favorite part of the movie? Who's your favorite character? Please remember to subscribe so I can give you more videos like this. I'm promising you, I'm going to give you another video for Black History Month. And I'm actually really excited to do this one. Please remember, hit the notification bell to get notified of more videos like this. Please share the video. Show everybody the great informative time you're getting here. I mean, I'm even bringing props in here for you guys. Got to be careful with this. Some of my precious, precious comic memorabilia. As always, guys, thank you for showing up. Thank you for allowing me just a bit of your time. Please remember, wash your hands, wear your mask, be good, be blessed, be good to yourself, be good to others. Black Lives Matter. Happy Black History Month, and I will definitely see you next time.